This is July 4th, so thanks for tuning in. And we have our usual cast. We got Hector over here, Joe, and we got Gerald as well. So welcome to the show, guys. And we have a nice little show for you guys. All right, guys. We have some questions, right, Joe? As far as Airbnb. So today we're gonna go over some questions on Airbnb, and I'm sure, Hector, you got some updates for crypto, right? And we're gonna talk a little bit about AI as well. So these are some of the things, and then we may get a little off topic with whatever else we're talking about. And yeah, so
let's have some fun.
Yeah, we'll have some fun.
You want to start off with the Bitcoin?
No, we'll leave it for last.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, real estate.
He wants to save the best for
last. So, Joey, I have a question for you.
Sure.
You've been in the Airbnb market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I assuming correctly?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been in the Airbnb market?
We've been doing Airbnb since, I believe, 2020 or 2019, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a long time, compared to most people. But
So there was an article that just came out about listings going down in a lot of major markets.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the list, but it was like Austin, Orlando, none of the like real major cities, which I would consider like LA,
New York,
New York City, right? We got to be specific. Miami, Atlanta. I didn't see any of those major cities on there, but there were some good cities on there where they're saying listings are down like 50%.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I noticed a lot of these cities are more on the West Coast. Well, not necessarily
Midwest.
West Coast, but Midwest and West, right? And they also recently passed a law in Dallas, Texas, where there's no Airbnb.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
Is that the first major city to cut it? Didn't Jersey City?
Well, Jersey City already did it.
Are they the first?
Are they the first?
From
No,
your
they're
knowledge?
actually not.
There have been others.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
There's
So
plenty.
So they're completely banning Airbnb.
Short-term rentals, right?
Short-term rentals.
is the
Yeah,
term.
you can still get around it by doing like 30-day plus rentals.
Oh, but not no weekend anymore.
Right. But they don't want just people, just coming in for like 2-3 days, come in, throw a party, and then leave. Right. So they don't want that. The cities, not Airbnb, they want not people to party, but they want, because that's where they get their money.
Right.
So they want that for sure.
So essentially no short-term contracts.
Correct.
So if I go to Miami for 45 days, I can get a list. If it were illegal, we'll say, right? If they had banned it, I can get a listing or a rental for 45 days, and there wouldn't be any issue with that.
No issue with
Okay.
that. So there are certain areas that do welcome Airbnb and stuff like that, right?
Which ones are those?
Which ones are those? So, for example, there's an area in the Poconos where tomorrow I'm going to go look at a property
Okay.
out there. And they actually welcome you to do Airbnb because there's like an entire community that's already set up for this type of activity.
Oh, okay.
So they have, for example, a clubhouse where, you gotta, and it's gated. It's gated community.
Okay.
So you drive up to the clubhouse and then you kind of go inside and it has all types of amenities, which is awesome, right? You got like swimming pools, you got playground, and all kinds of stuff to be able to do within the community.
Okay.
So it's really good for like families.
Okay.
So there are those, and then it really depends more or less on the tenant. So for example, Miami is fairly open to Airbnbs, right?
Okay.
You have like, we should have done this when Carmelo was here, because Carmelo owns a bunch of Airbnbs as well, right? He's got a bunch down in Wildwood. He's got Miami, and he's got Newark, that he does Airbnbs in.
He mentioned the Newark that he's doing very well with that.
Yeah. So I tried to start one in Newark when the pandemic was just starting, and I had to close it down. You know, I just do regular long-term rental
Okay.
because, you know, the timing wasn't right for me. Had I like held on to it for a couple of months and I changed the model to, so the way I did it was I had a guy out in like California, this guru, right? He's like, okay, so do your Airbnb. We're gonna help you design it, and you know they put like expensive furniture in there, and you know nice looking bed and all that stuff. Not realizing what Newark really is, right?
Okay.
Newark is a very like where I'm at. Okay.
Okay.
This is not like Ironbound. This is more like North Newark, and I didn't have parking either, so that's another downside.
Okay.
So my property, it wasn't something where it's like a luxury stay, and that's kind of how the guy kind of pitched it, you know, as a luxury stay. But
Who pitched it to you that way?
the guru,
The guru. Said,
yes.
He identified the property. Did he help you
No,
identify?
no, no.
You
no,
had the property
no,
already.
I owned the property already,
Okay.
and I had just finished renovations.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna Airbnb this whole freaking thing.
Okay.
You know, because I'm thinking like, hey, I'm gonna make $20,000 a month on this property.
One family, two family, three family.
It's a 3-family.
Okay.
You know, so it had a basement, first floor, second floor, and third floor.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, holy crap, I'm gonna make tons of money, right, from this thing. And then, the first floor and the basement, I kind of combined it into one unit.
Okay.
So you're gonna have 2 bedrooms on the first floor, and then like 5 bedrooms down in the basement, plus a full bath.
That's the big bucks.
Yeah.
Because that's the bigger families.
Right. So the problem is you got no parking. So if you come in with a big family, you got nowhere to park.
Okay.
Right. But second floor is like an average thing.
Okay.
So you have a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, kitchen, you know, living room. And then, and the third floor, same thing, 2-bedroom, you know, living room, kitchen, bathroom.
Okay.
So I started out with the first unit, right? After months, I didn't get anything, nothing. But we were like in the middle of COVID.
So you're literally covering
Yeah.
the mortgage,
The
or
mortgage,
was this wasn't a subject to or anything
No,
like
no,
that?
no. Nothing like that. Nothing fancy.
Okay.
But my mortgage was low, thank God. And I bought the property very cheap. Like, this is a home run deal regardless, right?
Okay.
So I purchased this property for $120,000, okay? I think it was 2019.
I was going to say 17, 18.
No. 2019, I believe that's when I purchased it. And then I put in a tenant on the third floor and the second floor, right? So I left the first floor open for the Airbnb, okay? And like I said, we put it on, and what we should have done was do it by the room, like rent it out by the room per night.
On Airbnb.
On Airbnb.
Like a hostel.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not really a hostel because you get your own room. The only thing is you're sharing the living room, the kitchen, and the bathroom.
Okay.
Okay? So everybody gets their own individual room. That's what I should have done. That's what the guy should have told me to do. Right? And I never because I had another guy who was offering their management services to me. And that's what he was pitching.
Okay.
But I didn't see the big money in that. I was like, man, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of like management,
Okay.
you know, because he had something like that, but down in Ironbound section, closer to the airport, you know. So I was like, I don't really want to do that. I want to do something nice, luxury. But like I said, I should have went that way.
Towards Ironbound.
No, not towards Ironbound, but towards doing the single room rental.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's what I really should have done.
So, Joy, let me ask you this. Regulation seems like it's a big risk for Airbnb.
Yeah.
So how can people stay up to date with regulations in Airbnb?
Well, depending on what town you're in, right? So you have to really find out what town you're in. If you're in Newark, obviously you want to go to the Newark website and try to dig and look for any Airbnb regulations. So, for example, we had another city that we did Airbnb in, is Lake Hopatcong. Okay, so Lake Hopatcong,
That's in Jersey.
Yeah, in New Jersey. Everything we're talking about here is New Jersey. So just just so the audience knows, like if you're watching from California or wherever, but in New Jersey, in Lake Hopatcong, actually Airbnb wasn't allowed. So we still did it anyway, right?
You knew that going in?
We kind of knew that going in, but we took the chance. We're like, so what are the chances they're going to find us, right? And how much is the fine? So we figured, you know what? We had a lakefront property, and we knew we were going to get a decent amount per night. And we're like, you know what? Screw it. If we get fined, we'll pay the fine. And worst case, we shut it down, right? And we do a longer term rental, like I said, the 30-day plus, because that's always legal, okay? Because that's just a long-term rental at that point, all right? And your contracts are 30 days instead of 1 year, like everybody's used to. So that's always legal. Now, we basically listed on Airbnb. We had a couple of letters sent to us, kind of like a warning. We kind of like just ignored it, and we kept doing what we did. I wouldn't really advise it, but at the same time, but it's got to be like a property where it's going to generate very high income for you.
Money don't make no money, right?
Right. So if it's an average property where it's not going to generate high income, I really wouldn't risk it. So that's the thing. But so eventually the problem was with the property was that there was a lot of deferred maintenance that had to be done. Like the seawall was kind of breaking. We needed a new siding. One of the big retaining wall was kind of collapsing. We had to put in a new boiler. It was like $15,000, because it was an oil-fired boiler, and we couldn't get anything else other than oil because there was no gas.
Okay.
So we're like, you know what? Instead of spending another $150,000, it was the top of the market, 2021, I believe. Yeah, something like that. Either 2021 or 22. I'm like, all the dates are getting mixed up now. So we ended up selling it at the height of the market, and because we're doing real estate every day and we kind of follow the market, we knew it was going to be we didn't know exactly that it was going to be a height of the market, but we kind of knew it was getting up there, right? And then that things were going to slow down after. So we decided, hey, let's sell it, let it be somebody else's headache, and we go from there. So we reinvested that money. We actually took that money, we reinvested it into a 208-unit apartment complex.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like
Don't go down that rabbit hole. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah. That. I mean, But what I'm saying is, if you don't have anything else to put that money into, then don't exit.
So have your strategy.
Yeah.
Don't just sell it and then say, what do we do now?
Exactly. Yeah. Have it ready, or you could do, let's say, a 1031 exchange and wait a few months before you identify the next property.
And a 1031 is what?
A 1031 is just basically a custodian, right? And they're holding your money for tax purposes, so that you're not getting taxed on your capital gains. So for example, in that one we took the capital gains hit. Okay? But because we had so many deductions from everywhere else, it kind of offset,
Okay.
Yeah, so we made
for tax purposes.
Yeah. So we made a good amount of money on that property.
How long did you hold it for?
We held it for a year.
Wow.
Just a year.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Those deals are gone though.
Oh, they're far and few between. But we were doing like 10 of those that year.
Wow.
So like an arbitrage kind of sort of.
It was an arbitrage.
Little maintenance and flip.
Yeah.
Kind of sort of.
Yeah, arbitrage is different. Arbitrage is if you don't own it.
Okay.
So that's another in terms of Airbnb, right? That's another. It could be great and it could be horrible. Okay, so every strategy has its pluses and minuses, right? So another one, like you said, the easiest way. What's the easiest way to get into Airbnb? It's arbitrage. Okay, so what's arbitrage? It's basically, let's say, Gerald, you have an apartment, right? You own a house or an apartment, and then I come to you and I say, hey, Gerald, can I rent this apartment? But I'm gonna do, short-term rental, right? STR. So I'll rent it from you for, let's say, $1,000 a month, and you have it rented for, let's say, $800, and I tell you, hey, listen, I'm gonna pay you a little more than the average person, and I'll pay you $1,000 instead of $800, and then I'm gonna do my short-term rental strategy on it, right? So now I'm gonna furnish it. I'm gonna get a manager to run the listing and everything. So I'm gonna list it on Airbnb, on Verbo, on wherever else.
How much management fee would you say is a good amount?
Anywhere from 10 to 25%. So like on one of our properties, we pay about 25%.
They handle all phone calls, maintenance,
Yes.
right? And then they pass on the whatever the costs are to you.
Mm-hmm.
Phone calls at 1:00 in the morning.
They handle that.
Listing, everything.
Everything.
If someone wants to extend it or what have you, that's who they're going to contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So,
you're
we don't
completely
deal
separate.
with anything. We don't deal with anything. The property we had in Lake Hopatcong, we dealt with everything. We received the phone calls, the everything. So because we wanted to try it out to see what it's like, right? Because if you've never tried it out, you don't know what kind of issues may come up. What are the issues? Things like that.
Gotcha.
People that, hey, I can't get in because the code is not working. Okay, we have an emergency key somewhere. The coded door lock, the battery ran out. Stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Or the Wi-Fi went out. You
gotta be in the field to pick up these things.
Yeah, so you understand all these little things, right? And we were fortunate on that property that our neighbor, the reason we were able to do it ourselves was because our neighbor next door was our cleaner. So they did a lot of watching the property for us. I mean, we had cameras on the outside, but we didn't have any in the inside. That's pretty important. Not to have any inside, unless you're running kind of like a room thing, but it's not inside the bedroom, obviously, right?
The common areas.
Yeah, you can have it in a common area or in a common hallway. That's okay, right? So those are some of the little things you kind of pick up on and understand once you kind of manage your own thing.
So what ended up happening to the Jersey, the Newark property?
The Newark one, I shut it down after.
You sold the property?
No. I still own the property.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I still
You're
own
just
the
renting it out now?
Yeah, we just do long-term rental.
Which one ended up working out best for you?
Right now, long-term rental is good because I self-manage. I own it myself, right? I don't have partners on that one.
Okay.
And I self-manage, but there's nothing to do because I have really good tenants. They never complain. Any issues. So my third floor tenant, they kind of are the quasi property manager.
Okay.
They keep the property clean. And in exchange, I didn't raise their rent, which is a very a good incentive for them, right? Because they did want to try to move, and they were looking for places, and they were like, holy crap, the rent is expensive everywhere. So listen, if you keep the place nice and clean, and any issues, you call me for, big repairs and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, my guys are there today. They're doing some sidewalk repairs because my insurance company is like, hey, the sidewalk is, got cracks and stuff. We don't want anybody tripping.
Liabilities.
Yeah. So I took care of that, and then we had a leak from the third floor. The third floor toilet had no flange. So the water, kept dripping down. but it took a long time to find out.
And you're
took
still
like
up,
2 years.
right? Because a lot of people, I have a lot of, there are a lot of people that would say, hey, this is why I don't like buying houses because all these things can happen. But do you set up a certain amount of money aside? Are you, when you're breaking down the property, right, with your cap costs, right, kind of sort of, right, like the cap costs, are you setting a certain amount for maintenance that you know, as long as it doesn't go above this percentage, I'm still up, right? I'm still up.
Yeah.
And I'm still cash flowing.
Yeah. So when I initially bought the property, I fully renovated it.
And this is something you'd have to think about for Airbnb as well.
Right. Yeah. So I fully, like I said, I'll just run some quick numbers, right, for you. So when I purchased it, I bought it for $120,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a steal, by the way. Nobody can find a deal like that right now.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Not even in the last 2-3 years. So I bought it for $120,000. I put in about $80,000 into the property to fix
Your own
it up.
cash, hard money?
Hard money. I did get it. I did buy it with hard money.
Okay.
And then with that, after I finished all the renovations, I did a cash out refinance, right? And I took about $110,000 out of the property into my own pocket, but I reinvested that money.
Okay.
And then
So
now
that means you bought it for 110, right? 100?
120,
120. You put how much into it?
80.
80. So that means the property, the appraisal came back at what, around 350, 400,000?
Yeah.
In less than how much time?
Close to, I think 375 at that time. So
And
this
how
is
much time?
maybe 2019. It was around that
And
time.
when did you do the cash out refi?
About a year later.
Wow. So
About a year later.
kind of sort of doubled your money
Yeah.
in 1 year.
It's probably worth now, and don't kill me, but on Zillow it says around 675.
Wow.
I'm not looking to sell, so I'm not looking at real comps here, right? It's just a quick okay, it's in this range,
Okay.
because it's not accurate, but I'm like, holy crap, that's a home run there, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So, but had the Airbnb worked out, would have been even sweeter, even better. But I'm not crying.
Right. You're still up.
Yeah, I'm
That's all it's
happy.
about.
Yeah. I just wish I could find more of these type of deals.
Yeah.
Right?
luck.
Anybody would.
Let's get an RV and go to
Yeah.
the middle of Ohio somewhere, maybe.
Well, I'm talking about RV. So this weekend. So what is everybody doing this weekend? Right?
I'm here hanging out with you.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, the weekend coming up.
Oh, next weekend?
Yeah.
Nothing planned.
Nothing.
I don't know. You got to ask the wife. You got to go through
All right.
the family calendar.
Yeah. So we're renting. We pre-rented an RV.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're not going far. We were just gonna be here in western part of New Jersey, more in
Okay.
the woods.
Okay.
But it has a swimming area, little fake beach.
Okay. There's a lot of those in Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. The kids. That's what the kids wanted. So we're like, all right, let's go there and hang out for a couple of days.
Better than going to American Dream with a family spending $1,000.
Yeah. You know what? I was surprised. The RV wasn't as expensive as I thought. It was, I think, for 3 days. So I'm picking up Friday and dropping it off, I think, Sunday or Monday, one of those. And it was $675. So it's not too bad. But then you got to pay for the place, too.
Right.
So now it's $1,000.
Still cheaper than
Yeah.
Airbnb.
But you got to bring your own food. You bring your own food, you barbecue and all that stuff.
You can hunt.
Well, come on, man. Do I look like a hunter? No. The only thing I'm hunting for is where's my wallet. Yeah. So let's move on. So do you have is there a specific question you wanted to ask?
Well, it
for
was
Airbnb?
more about, so what happens on social media, right? We're all aware
Yeah.
of this. So a report will come out and people will either misconstrue it or, oh, this is it's 100% down when there's only you could. Well, what number are we basing it off of, right? Oh, there was only one of those foreclosures in that area, right? That happens a lot. Foreclosures are down 300% in the Midwest, right? But there were no foreclosures compared to last year. They'll say, right? I'm just making up a scenario. And they'll say, oh, foreclosures are up 300% compared to 2020 when there were no foreclosures at all. So what's the basis of this number? So that's why I wanted to bring it up about this meme going all over social media the last couple of days that, Airbnb is basically going out of business, and look at the numbers in these major cities, and it's not working out, and all these people are going to be underwater. They're going to lose, and they're going to go into foreclosure. The ones that purchase the properties for the specific reason of doing Airbnb.
Yeah. So when you get into an Airbnb, you don't want to analyze the numbers as an Airbnb, okay? You want to analyze it, can it work as a long-term rental? Because that's going to ultimately be your fallback, just like me, right? You want to be able to make sure that as a long-term rental, does it work? If it doesn't work, don't buy it.
That's great insight.
Don't buy it.
That's great insight.
Right? Because if the only thing you can depend on is Airbnb, it's not a great purchase to begin with. And so many things could happen with it, right? Number one, the biggest thing is regulation.
What about like one thing I think a lot of people talk about? What about the reviews? You get that one bad review.
Reviews are a little easier to get around, okay? Because I'll give you a little insight. There are certain things that people that create reviews for you, they can't say, right? I'm not gonna spill the secret.
Okay.
Right? And so there are certain things they can't say, and if they put it on the review, we can get it removed just like that.
Okay.
So
they can say a certain whatever the case may
be. So
and you can show proof. Hey,
I'll give you one quick example. Like we have 3 Airbnbs in Atlantic City, okay? And over there's a lot of, let's say, crackheads, right?
He's right to the point.
No, there is though.
You mean
but there is
people that are down and out?
Yeah. There is. So for example, if you put that on your review, everything is like 5-star, right? Location, no, except location.
Okay.
Right. So you put like, it's comfortable. It's this, it's that, and then you put, there was a lot of crackheads walking around the neighborhood, right? And you gave me like, let's say a 3-star on location. I get that removed right away. So now
is that a matter of an opinion?
No, because that's beyond your control.
That's beyond. Yeah, exactly. That's beyond my control. I don't.
That's good that they do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say I get 5 stars on everything except that one thing, right? Now my review become a 4-star review instead of a 5.
Okay.
So now I can get that removed right away because of that. So there are certain things you can get removed.
Gotcha.
If you know how to play the game. That's how like some of the more professional people, they stay up there, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, like we've been a what is that called? Superhost for like 3 consecutive quarters, and we've only had it for like 3 consecutive quarters.
Nice.
So the superhost you can get removed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, once you go below a certain, I think like 4.5 rating or something like that, I don't even pay attention anymore. I used to know everything like by heart, but
okay,
like,
you drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, now I don't even pay attention too much to it, and it's like, okay, you forget that and you move on. You learn the next thing. Right.
Joe, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
So regulation is definitely high risk, right, for the business model. But tell me a little bit more about how the platform charges the fees to you. Is this variable? Is this like a variable expense, or is it set by year? How does the platform charge you? Because I'm thinking, what if they decide to raise the price so much that people are not even making profit out of it? Like,
it's actually fairly minimal. what Airbnb charges is fairly minimal. For example, hold on. Let me get a.
Do they do it by percent, by area, or is it a set?
Honestly, I don't even know how the calculation is made. I've never looked at it because the host doesn't pay for it. It's actually the guest that ultimately pays.
Oh, wow. So they pay for the platform fee.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Because you mentioned 15% cost and maintenance costs around, right? Like a estimate. So I'm thinking, okay, so what would be the estimate for the platform and to try to get to the net revenue of a night? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's fairly small. It's very small.
Yeah, stay direct. I was doing that last week.
Yeah. I forget. And I just moved too much.
Let me see. Okay, here. So this is an old one, right? So we got $555.50 times 2 nights. So that's $111. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we charged them a $197 cleaning fee.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Airbnb fee.
Automatically.
Yeah, it's all as soon as they book, it's all there.
So sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah.
You how did you get to that number to charge them for the cleaning fee? How did you come with that number?
This is what our cleaners charge us.
Oh, that's what the cleaner charge. Okay, so you go
Yeah.
based on what to charge. Okay,
Mhm.
gotcha.
And then their service fee is $39.24. So it's very minimal. You know? So like out of $1,000, so it's what, like 0.3% or something like that.
Mm.
You know, if you do it as a percentage. So I don't know if they do it per night or I never tried to figure it out because it wasn't that important to me. You know, because you got to pay it regardless, right? So it's not something where like, oh, can I save some money on this or not?
Yeah, no, I'm just asking more from like the risk standpoint of them lifting it up so much,
Right.
where your money
Yeah.
actually goes down. You see,
Exactly.
because they own the platform,
Right.
So
They can adjust it as they choose.
They
That's
can-
all in that
exactly.
fine print, that
Mhm.
thing that you just keep scrolling. It's all in there.
Yeah. So so I don't know. I don't
So
know.
you would say the market, Airbnb market in general, you're not obviously in all these markets, right? You can't speak for it as an expert. You're not in Orlando, right?
No.
Okay, so you're not in Orlando. That was one of the cities. So you can't speak for all these. It was about 10 or 15 cities
Yeah.
that was on the list.
No, I saw it.
But in general, you can say Airbnb is still a good, either if you're putting a mortgage on it or starting off with arbitrage, right?
Yeah.
Would you suggest just starting off with arbitrage first?
I think there's an extra layer of risk if you do arbitrage because now you're also at the mercy of the landlord
Gotcha.
that you're renting from. Okay. So
don't pull up in the new G-Wagon
yeah.
to go renegotiate your contract
Right.
or your lease.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Maurice. So yeah, don't do that for sure. Pull up in your,
Uber and park your
Well-
car around the corner.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, don't do that. So that's an extra risk, right? I think the biggest thing is that you want to be careful, do your research. You have like apps like AirDNA where
Okay.
you can research and make sure that there are short-term rentals in your area. Okay. Like right now, I'm buying a property. I'm under contract to purchase a property down in South Jersey, and I'm thinking, hey, can I do Airbnb on this property or not? Like I'm talking to my my Airbnb property manager, and I asked her, hey, can you take a look and see if this property is Airbnb-able, right? If not, then we'll just do long-term rental. Because the number for me works either way. It doesn't matter. But would I like to make some extra money? Yeah. So we're going to see.
So in reality, for somebody that's doing arbitrage, there's no exit strategy.
Their only exit strategy is to give up the lease.
Give up the lease.
That's it. Right?
Or to take the money that you're making from that and go buy your own property. If the business is working well for you,
yeah,
right? So if you don't, so what I'm trying to say is, if so, a lot of people say, well, it takes a lot of money to make money, right?
of course.
But I don't know how the arbitrage works, right? I don't know if we have enough time to explain it, maybe on another podcast. But you come in with 2-3 months worth of rent and whatever the furniture costs, right? I know the furniture is actually more than 2 or 3 months worth of rent, right? Furniture
can be,
especially 2-3 bedrooms.
Go to Bob's Outlet.
No, Bob's is expensive, and they kill you and they kill you.
can
Don't
find
ever
good
buy
deals.
the Bob's warranty. I know. Don't buy the Bob's warranty, extended warranty, the Goof program, whatever that is. But Bob's is actually pretty expensive.
Yeah. I usually get, for my Airbnb furniture, now these are lower end stuff, all right? So just want to preface that. So I usually get it from Amazon. We'll get it. We'll order everything from Amazon, have it shipped, and then once everything or almost everything arrives, then we'll have our property manager come in and just start, putting everything together, So that's kind of how, we've done it, and a lot of other people have done it.
But what I was trying to say is, a lot of people say, it takes so much money to buy a property, especially in the Northeast, right? Mm-hmm. But if you have an Airbnb property that you're arbitraging and you're doing well with it, you take a little bit, for expenses or whatever the case, for traveling there. But that money you can put to the side to go ahead and buy your own 2-family, 3-family.
Yeah.
And now you're in the business. You know how it's worked. You've been doing it for a year to a year and a half. So you don't really need, you're pretty much your own guru at that point.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good way to start a business in real estate.
Right. I mean,
if you find a good property.
Yeah. No, they're different models, right? I mean, there's people that have access, for example, to like vacation areas, and they're more like brokers in a way, where they will approach you and say, hey, Joe, I have a property in, say, like Cancun, right? And I know the owner, so we'll make an arrangement. So let's say if you normally rent it out for like $500 a month, I'll rent it from you for $1,000, okay? And then what they do is another arbitrage. They'll find another investor. Let's say I'll find Hector now, right? And I'll bring him in and say, Hector, if you do Airbnb or short-term rental here, you rent it from me for $1,500, okay? I'll also help you manage the property too, So now they're taking it a step above.
It's like an Airbnb wrap.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that, like I've had people like, and they do well, actually, believe it or not. They do very well, yeah. Because they've owned so many Airbnbs now. It's like, okay, what's another way to make even more money? And this is a little bit more, there's a little bit more, not so much guarantee, but there's more, it's more steady. Because,
especially in cities like Dominican Republic and, along the Caribbean, Mexico.
Because on the slow months, let's say you only make 2,000. So now you only, you net, let's say 500, not even, right?
So you're on the third layer, is what you're saying.
Yeah, as the
profit.
Actual Airbnb investor, you're up there, So you rather either be the property owner where you don't get really any of the upside, right? Your number is capped.
Gotcha.
And then the second person has a little more upside because they cap their expenses, but they don't cap the upside.
Right.
Which is pretty cool.
Makes sense.
You
have one of those?
No, I wish I did. But it's something to think about. Like there's so many different things that people do, if you really think about it. But I think the biggest thing is that having a great location is the big key, where it's friendly towards visitors and stuff like that.
Like with all commercial properties, location.
Yeah, it's the location, right? Because like I said, my first location, Newark, it wasn't a great location for short-term rental. But let's say my tenant that's there now, let's say they move out, I may give it another try,
Gotcha.
you know. So I don't know. I might, you know, once they move out, because now I got like 7 bedrooms and I can do it by each night. You know, I code all the doors and, you know, I could throw the furniture in really quickly, you know, and they don't need anything crazy like, you know, Amazon stuff.
It doesn't have to necessarily be the Airbnb model. You know, like you said, you can do renting out by room, especially in Newark. That's so, the proximity to the airport is so close. There's crash pads that you can do.
Well, basically that's what it would be.
Right.
A crash pad. Yeah.
There's the visiting nurses that I hear a lot of good things about.
Yeah.
So you know, it doesn't have to be just Airbnb. It's kind of like what's happening with the car rental business now. You have Turo, you have Hire Car. Uber is now getting into the car rental business. So you can list your vehicle or your property in so many different platforms now that, like, even when I've looked into it, I was always basing it like on a 20-day model, right? To be conservative. Yeah. Now with so many other ways of doing it, you can now say, you could base the number on 30 days now, 31 days.
As long as you have a good software that kind of integrates all the different platforms you're using.
That's another podcast.
Yeah. As long as you have that, you know.
So there's something that you can, if you put it on CrashPad, if you put it on Airbnb, something that, so it kind of controls your booking. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, Joy, did you start asking ChatGPT what's the best location in the city yet?
No.
It doesn't work off
Airbnb?
history very well.
Really?
It doesn't pull like current data. It always says that.
Really?
I try to pull data from there for real estate, and it always says cannot pull current data.
Yeah, there's a disclaimer that it says, I forget what it says. It says something along the line of like, there's no data after 2020 or something like that.
Something
right?
like that, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not that great. It's good for, I don't know, write me a script for today's, you know, podcast or something like that.
Right.
You know, write me a novel about, I don't know, Tom Sawyer or something like that.
I asked it to do it once for an email reply, and I put the word script, and it literally started writing a script. So it would literally like a professional script. So it was saying buyer, like it was writing a play or a script for a movie. I had to tell it to stop because it just kept going.
That's what Hollywood is afraid of.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Yeah. So
that's
talk about
is that the whole thing with the writers, right?
Yep.
The writers' strike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit about that? Like, how did all that started? What happened there?
Well, the writers are underpaid, so you know they're just looking to get paid what they're worth. You know, I mean, they do deserve a lot more than what they're making now. Offhand, I don't know the exact figures, but I just know that they deserve a little bit more than what they're making, you know. But right now, they're afraid that the writers are afraid AI will take over, you know, that production companies and studios will want to replace writers with AI.
Right.
And I can see that happening if government doesn't step in and
there's so
regulate.
much data that's accessible now that, you know, this AI can, you know, take like you could, I guess, tell it to write me a Terminator script and it'll pull other action movie scripts into one and then pull like the best data from there and just write the best script. Yeah. I think that's what they're scared of.
Pretty much, yeah. That and like being able, AI can duplicate your voice, your face. Right. You ever see those?
The deep fakes?
Yeah, the deep fakes with like Tom Cruise, fake Tom Cruise.
Yeah, no, like when you do overdub, when you do overdub sometimes with these actors when they get sick or they're working on 2 movies at the same time, they got to overdub a movie. Now they just get AI to do it. Oh, don't worry, we don't have to pay. And sometimes the actor, like, if I got to come back, I'm sure you would know. If I got to come back, I'm going to charge you another $500,000. Yeah. Now we don't need you anymore. Yeah. You don't need you to come back.
You know what the funniest ones are? the funniest ones are when Trump and Biden I don't know if you've seen this.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I know what you're talking about.
When Trump and Biden, they're like, it's like an hour long. It's insane, right? And they're like cursing at each other and saying, it's so freaking hilarious. I'll send it to you guys if I ever find it.
Send it. But that's
Wikipedia is gonna be gone soon.
Well, it's pulling. Isn't the original concept of it was pulling from what's it called? Cura?
Kiora? Yeah.
Cura. It was pulling data from Wikipedia, and I think they were suing them because that's their like copyrighted information. I think Wikipedia was originally suing them. I think I may have
If
that
I'm not
right.
mistaken, you can get into it and edit it yourself. Anything that's posted
In
So
Wikipedia.
That's in
Wikipedia,
yeah,
So
because
it's
it's
actually-
user.
it's user.
It's open format,
So
Yeah.
it should
sort
be
of.
open
source,
for-
yeah.
for the program to actually pull. from
That's
there.
weird. But how's the Bitcoin market doing?
Oh, Bitcoin.
I saw the Coinbase went up on Monday.
Yeah. So all of these crypto related.
The ETF, it's like the
are
ETFs
going-
might go through, right? The process.
So there was something that came out last week. Apparently, some of the institutions that are filing for the ETF, they filed incorrectly.
Oh.
So it shook the market a little bit, and it took Bitcoin to 29,500. So 29,500, but now the news came out that they refiled again.
It was missing data.
It
The
was
first
missing
time, right?
some information that the SEC is asking for, and we're close to breaking out over 31,500, which is that level that we have been talking about. So because of that, you
So it's
have
basically going to break in resistance, or a big resistance.
a big resistance, exactly. So after that, all the Mara, Riot, REI,
gonna
Coin,
take off.
it has been taking off. Actually, the call options are printing so much money.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's your Bitcoin going?
I haven't even looked at it.
So what I do is that to not be looking at it so much because it can consume you.
Right.
Just checking the app. Oh, what's the Bitcoin rate? I just put a trigger alarm that if it crosses a certain level, that's where I really want to pay attention to. If not, then I just let it be.
That's very essential.
Yeah. And I just focus on actually doing my call options, my swing trading, and not be so much on just one thing on Bitcoin chart.
Gotcha. Diversify.
Yeah. Well, diversify time, pretty much.
Right. That's good.
Yeah, diversify your
I
time.
haven't heard that before. Diversify your time. I heard that before.
Yeah.
Did you get that from somewhere? You made that up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Coin it, bro.
Yeah. But I'm still with July is going to be a great month. As long as the S&P 500 doesn't pull back or we get some sort of political or something, some sort of headline that pulls back.
I saw
the
a
market.
headline today. They're saying that the next quarter will be even better than second quarter 2023.
So that's great. So the market is very bullish.
It
Yeah,
was supposed to. Everything was supposed to, like at the beginning of the year, like real estate was going to crash, the stock market was going to crash. This was going to be the worst crash ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so far it's been the complete opposite.
Yeah, so that's one of the issues where all the mainstream media, right? They're telling you, hey, this is gonna crash, that's gonna crash, and then actually the opposite happens. And the people that really know and really study the data, the rich people, they actually invest when everybody's yelling. You know, what's the famous saying from Warren Buffett?
Buy when others are greedy?
Yeah.
No, wait. When it's not. I don't think it's
Is
Buffett,
it-
but I
it-
think you mean the one that.
You mean buy the rumor, sell the news?
No, I think
Well-
you mean buy when there's blood in the street.
Exactly.
Buy when there's blood in the street.
Yeah. So there's that, right? And everybody's like, okay, well, everybody's on the sidelines because, the market's going to crash. Market's going to crash, right? And in the meantime, it's like, oh, the NASDAQ went up 45% this year. What the hell?
No.
So it didn't crash. It went the other way.
Right.
And now and then what happens is everybody gets wind of that and everybody's like, oh, now I want to invest. as the market is going up.
They get trapped.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Yeah, because it's too late to get in now, right?
That's what I was saying. You buy the rumor when they say, and this, I think we talked about this before, and I learned this, late in my stock market journey. Whatever you're doing as a retail investor, there's a guarantee that all of the major hedge funds and all these professionals, they're doing the complete opposite. They
Yeah.
can literally see this. It's in like Thinkorswim. There's tons of ways to look at. They can see what retail is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the bots are doing the complete opposite
Yeah.
of what you're doing. They base their trades on what retail is trending.
That's why I honestly don't even look at headlines that much. Like if you go see my Quotes Instagram account, I barely post headlines like
Right.
other Instagram accounts do.
Yeah.
Because that creates the whole purpose of headlines is just to create emotion,
Correct.
right? So I actually just post what I'm seeing on the data at that time,
Right.
and then the headlines follow. They tend to follow because you start picking up on signals that the charts are telling you something is going to happen. So, for example, this week, if you look at NEO, their call options went up a lot, and before it actually
They were dead in the dirt for a while.
Oh yeah.
they were there.
I
But-
used to own it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you could see on the chart the setup, the volume.
NEO is the Tesla, right?
NEO
The
is
Tesla
one
of China.
of the Tesla
Yeah, China,
competitors, right? So, and it was interesting because they released their numbers of how many cars they sold the 30th, I want to say.
Yeah, it was last week.
And 2 weeks ago, it has been trending up and nice. So you can get a hint of something's happening, and then it happened.
Is the electric car market that important or in China? Because I'm seeing
It's huge in
it's
China.
huge. It's huge.
It's big. When I was there in 2019,
Is there a lot of government subsidies happening, or
that I don't know. But I know that a lot of people buying new cars are buying electric cars in China because gas is so freaking expensive there.
gotcha?
They're paying 2019 they were paying like $5 or $6 per liter, not per gallon, per liter.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're paying what,
If
like
you visualize it, it's
$12 per gallon, and all the gas stations in China is run by the state, China. There is no privately owned gas station in China.
So there's
So
no way that
they-
the government would want to control this new influx of electric cars, and now they're taking less profits.
Well, all the utilities are controlled by China. So the amount you're paying
they win
to
either
charge
way.
your car, the amount you're paying to charge your car, they control that too. So they're keeping it artificially low so that you buy electric cars, right? And also China controls 90% of all the rare earth minerals that
the
you
government. You
need.
say China, the government itself.
Yes, the government. They control that, and you basically to create the batteries. Okay, so
So-
everybody else has to buy from them or from their mines or whatever.
Wow.
So when like CNBC or Fox Business News is announcing that Tesla sales are down in the U.S. 10% year over year, we're not taking into account what's happening in China and other countries.
No. Now they're opening up. I think they had one in Germany.
India is supposed to be
Yeah,
huge.
India's big, but for the U.S., they're opening up in Mexico.
If you think about it, actually, when Apple, I'm not saying it was related, but when Apple, right before Apple took off, it was right before they opened up the Apple store, the first Apple store in India,
Really?
was when the stock really started taking off.
So I'm gonna tell you guys something that Tesla's doing in Nevada, and not a lot of people know about this, but you guys heard about the cars that Tesla's gonna be selling cheap, right?
Yeah, the entry level.
But they're building it in Mexico though.
Right. But in order, you know how they're actually getting to this price to bring down the cost significantly.
It's in the batteries.
The what?
It's all in the batteries.
Yeah. So they're actually building recycle plants to recycle the elements of the batteries to be able to put them back into their whole production, which is crazy. So, for example, in China, right, you got to go back and buy the government, et cetera, they're going to keep it all here, recycling, and they're actually going to make money out of that as something on the side that they'll be, because they also service batteries to other manufacturers, right, which is big, and they're obviously cornering the whole charging station network. So there's something that I look at when I'm evaluating companies to see if I'm going to do some sort of trade, either being mainly for long trades though, which is called the Altman Z score. Okay. So if you look at the Altman Z score for whatever company, it's a Z score is based on a standard deviation. That's a statistic. The further you are from let's say 3, the healthier the company is to stay in business and not go bankrupt. If you look at the Altman Z score for Tesla, it's like over 15, which is mind blowing. So for them to go bankrupt is almost somewhat, well, it's not impossible, but the likelihood
it's low.
It's very low. So that's why you have people like Kathy Wood and all these other investors investing so much into.
She loves.
She
loves her some Elon.
So I'm actually not a fundamental trader or investor. I'm a technical. I look at the charts, but the Altman Z score, just with that, brings in so many components of cash flow, liabilities, revenue, accounts payable, all that into like. There's so many variables into that one score that knowing it will help you a lot.
That's good.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome, guys.
So I think there's some great information. If you're looking to get some good Bitcoin information, Hector, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can check out Gwoats Industries, GWOATS Industries on Instagram.
Yeah. And Joe does mortgages, right?
Yeah, you can just, if you're looking to get any sort of information on residential, I can help anyone with up to 8 units. I can help with multifamily VA loans, USDA loans, any kind of loan you can think of up to an 8 unit. I can help you out with that. And you go to Joe Does Mortgages on all social media.
Wait, Joe, I was going to ask you a question. Is it only mortgages related, or do you do like business expansion and all that too?
Not necessarily.
No?
So like hard money?
No, not hard money.
We could do hard money as well.
So let's say I own dump trucks, right? Oh, I do own dump trucks. So
No. So I'm just into mortgages. No financing.
Okay,
No,
you're into mortgages.
that's
Gotcha.
your Citizens Bank, your Joey Bank,
Gotcha.
your Joey Bank over there.
Okay.
Cool.
That's more. That's going to be a great podcast for about private money lending.
Yeah.
That's where you get that money, especially in today's market.
Yeah, because I'm looking to scale my business soon, and I'm looking for my best option to get money.
And Gerald, where are you gonna find you?
Just look up Talent and Skills. We're everywhere on social media. So, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. If you want to see auditions, casting calls, join our group, Talent Skills, on Facebook. That's where we post it. Need talent? Hit me up, or,
For video shoots.
want to team up?
Anything.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Anything entertainment related.
Okay.
Nice. And you can find me at Joey Chan, REI, and we are at Kitchen Design Lab, where we design kitchens from anywhere from rentals to multi-million-dollar show homes. All right, and you can follow us on Instagram at Kitchen Design_lab, and yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here on the 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Yeah, and happy 4th of July, everyone. Thanks so much. Have a good one.